All right. Hi guys, Blake and Levi here with Lilleys Landing Resort and Marina on beautiful Upper Lake Taneycomo. It is Sunday, the 16th of August, and this is the One Cast. Today we boated up here to right above Lookout Point Island. I'm gonna drift this shallower water using a scud on my fly rod. Oh my. I've got the size 14 rainbow gray scud, and I'm gonna have that on about, I'm gonna probably put it about 11 foot underneath the indicator here. Levi is throwing an 1/8 ounce brown head Lilleys jig, sculpin and sculpin and ginger jig. Sculpin and ginger on 4-pound test. Let's see, they're running about 170 megawatts, I think, according to the schedule. I don't fish it too often, but this little spot over here, right above Lookout Point, can be a pretty good spot. Fish kind of congregate right here in between the two chutes going around the island. Oh, let's see, it's about, I don't know, I'd have to say it's probably close to 85 degrees out here, maybe just a touch hotter. Really low humidity. Beautiful day on the water. These riffles that come off the side of the island, usually a pretty good spot to drift a scud. Now you want to make sure they're running enough water to do this, because the area we're drifting over right now, if there wasn't this much water running, it would be tricky. Nothing on the first cast. Got lots of boats out today. I've got a 0.6 gram split shot on here, and that seems to be just enough to get me to tick the bottom. I'll try to throw over there in that riffling water. Today's one of those days I wouldn't mind pulling up to the island and fishing the back side of it, wading out there. Actually, there's someone doing that right now. How about that? Let's see. Fishing reports. Dwayne had a good night last night. Said they boated 60 fish or so on the Signature Series, and they boated one that was 21 inches. Let's see. Captain Steve Dickey came in with a really nice net of fish this morning from his guide trip. Had some really big fish, and they were loaded with scuds. I couldn't believe how many came out of their stomachs. We have a guest staying with us, and she went out this morning as well. and did really good. Caught some big fish. As a matter of fact, all the boats that came back this morning really had some nice fish. I think it's kind of funny how some days everyone will come back in and it seems like they're small fish, and some days it's all big fish. And I don't know if they just, certain fish bite on certain days or what, but I see that pattern more than once. I was gonna do this video up at the dam. We went up there earlier just to do a little fishing and just didn't really find any fish until we got down here to Lookout. So we caught one on a jig and 5 or 6 on a scud. So the scud definitely still seems to be the choice lure for the middle of the day, at least for me. Comes Captain Steve right now. Go by us. Hey Levi, will you turn the camera around this way? A little bit more. Perfect. I was talking to Dwayne earlier and he said somebody was doing good, all right, in the morning on the midge, and everybody seemed to agree that those first couple of hours of daylight have been the best, and the fish really kind of shut down shortly after that first couple hours. I know that the micro jigs have been working well in the mornings. If I'd had my choice this morning, I would have went out and threw like a 125th ounce marabou jig, which is pretty close to a micro jig, under a float. I don't always like doing the exact same thing, but whenever the fishing's this, you know, tough and middle of the day, you just gotta go with what works. Earlier, when I was fishing these scuds up closer to the dam, I had to put a extra weight on top of the weight I already had on, which put me at almost a full gram of weight, which is quite a bit, which is why you need one of those bigger indicators, because you never know where the water's going to be a little faster and where you're going to have to adjust. So you need enough indicator to make sure you're always getting down there, and so that the indicator stays afloat. It's not a terrible thing to wiggle your bobber every once in a while, kind of give that scud a little extra movement. Sometimes that entices them. I've got the split shot on about 14 or 15 inches above the scud. These lovely boaters are gonna fly right by us here on the side we're fishing on. Hold on, Levi. Big wake. Oh, I was sleeping on that one. I don't know what I was doing. He had that bobber under the water for 5 seconds. I wanted to wait until, it's probably about 5 o'clock now. I was waiting for that sun to drop kind of a little bit over, start heading back down before I did the video, thinking maybe it would increase the fishing here. Something interesting that happened earlier. Dwayne and I were gassing up a boat at the dock, and he looked back on the lower end of the dock behind the boat and realized there was about 100 or more rainbow trout all sitting at the end of our dock. And it was about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes after they had just kicked the water on for the first time today. And we think what's happening is that big scud hatch that we've been having at the dock every morning with the water off. I think the fish have figured out that when they kick the water on, those scuds get washed out from underneath our dock. And so we think that they're sitting back there eating the scuds as they wash out from underneath the dock and out of the grass. It was pretty cool. Dwayne ran and grabbed a rod and started catching them. And the hatch at the dock hasn't been like it was a few days ago, but we're still seeing pretty significant amount of scuds hatching out of that grass that grows around our dock. So I think it's only taken a day or two for the fish to catch on that there's a bunch of scuds coming from right underneath our dock whenever they turn the water on. So right now, the wind is pushing the boat back upstream, and it's causing my rig to get drugged downstream kind of quickly. So in order to adjust for that, I'm taking the trolling motor and pointing it backwards and scooting the boat, trying to keep the indicator moving the same speed as the boat. Keep a natural presentation. Whenever it gets pulled too far in either direction, it makes the scuds move too fast and picks them up off the bottom. And Levi, try fishing that deep water over there. I just want to see if you pick up anything out there. Right now I'm hugging close to the middle. I want to keep it to where that 11 foot of leader is enough line for that weight to tick the bottom. But I'm also trying to hold it right here on the shade line, which I just ran out of. Just seeing if there's any fish holding there. It might be that I need to increase the length of my leader even more and scoot out farther in the middle. The sun's still beaming down pretty bright. They've been shutting the water off a little bit earlier. I think tonight they're gonna have it off by 8 o'clock, slowing it down back to 70 megawatts at 7 o'clock. I am gonna increase the length of my leader by about 1.5 feet and just see if that makes a difference here. Something you can do when you got a lot of leader, makes it pretty hard to cast and pull it pull it back out of the water, so you can kind of pull it up to that point and then flip it and let it lay back across on the water behind you and then flip it back forward again. That's called water loading, and it's a good way to cast whenever you have a bunch of leader. I actually hooked myself like twice earlier whenever I was trying to do normal casts with that 12 to 13 foot of leader. And I'm gonna flip over here and try this out in the middle. Oh, as soon as I flipped and put it in a little bit deeper water, immediately had a bite. So those are just some of the little adjustments that you got to make. You know, changing the length of your leader by 1 foot, or flipping over and fishing 1 foot or 2 deeper in the water column, and just play around with that stuff until you start getting bites. Hello. Yeah, we're doing the one cast right now. I'll be done soon. Do what? Oh, yeah. Yep, sure am. All right. Bye. Okay. Well, I'm not sure if they mentioned it yesterday on one cast, but Phil and Dwayne took a reading of the dissolved oxygen levels in the water, and it was at like 4.3 parts per million, which is kind of low for this time of the year. It's, I guess, from, I don't know, I haven't been here long enough to know each year what the dissolved oxygen levels are like at certain parts of the year, but I guess that the 4.3 that we're in now usually doesn't happen until like October, November, and so what that does is it kind of makes the fish sluggish. They don't have as much energy. They're not going to bite quite as hard. And it could be potentially not good if it keeps dropping and we don't get more oxygen in the water. I think Dwayne was telling me that they had really low oxygen levels the last time they had the big brown kill. So we'll just hope that it does not come to that this year. This wind's really beating up on me and making this difficult. Normally, if I was having a really hard time keeping it even, I would turn the boat nose down and chase the indicator, keep it even. But we got two different styles of fishing going on in the boat right now, so try to do my best to make a happy medium. This might be one of those instances where I needed to add more weight again. I'm not sure if they were running the full 170 megawatts whenever we were out earlier when this weight was working. But I'm not really seeing it tick the bottom much here. Oh, every time I look away. Gotta pay attention. They, along with not being quite as energetic, they are not holding on to the bait nearly as long. So once you get that bite, you've only got a second or two to set the hook before they've already spit it out. Ooh, that strap's annoying. Oh, it's looking like I might get skunked today here. Right here, going through the Narrows, is definitely a spot where I could use another bit of weight. The water gets moving. I think there went my weight. Did you hear that? I think it flew off the line, or it broke everything off the line, one of the two. Yeah. Lost my weight. Take this moment to add a couple extra pieces of weight here. Except, not sure what I did with my weights. I could have swore I put them in my pocket. There they are. So I'm gonna, oh my. I'm gonna add 2 number 1 size split shots, which I think is about the equivalent of the one weight that I did have on there. Okay. Go a couple more minutes and I think I'm gonna call it. If you don't have a nice straight tight angle down to the bottom when you're dragging something underneath an indicator, the fish can pick it up and spit it out before you ever know that they were there. So that's why it's important to see your bobber ticking, that weight ticking the bottom, being indicated on your bobber. It's pretty shallow over there, so you want to work it pretty fast, Levi. Right now I'm over the top of some pretty shallow water, and I think my indicator's almost getting caught up too much here. Something I might try the next time I come out and do one cast. I know last summer I went up here behind Eagle Island a lot, and even in the middle of the day I'd go back there, a little bit of shade, and throw the micro jigs underneath an indicator, or even like a midge, kind of somewhat deep, and there's days where I do really well back there. But you had to fish really deep, and back behind Eagle Island, that first portion of it at least, is actually quite a bit deeper than you'd think it is. I think there were times where I was fishing those flies at least 10 foot underneath the indicator. Go ahead and break it. Alright. Well, lost the jig, and these fish seem to be sleeping right now. So, well, that's fishing. We thank you guys for watching today. Like and share us on Facebook, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.